Welcome to the tutorial on how to put your name on a jewelry bench pin. Hopefully you've made your bench pin at this point, and now you're setting up to use the laser to engrave your bench pin with your name, which gives us a chance to introduce the laser, which we'll use later in the course for some jewelry projects. On the screen, you see a piece of software that you can find on your computer. It's called, if I go up here to Help and About, it is called Inkscape. On your computer, you may have more than one version of Inkscape. In order to stay aligned with this video, you want the one that starts with 0.9 something. It might have a 5 or it might have some other number here, but 0.9. Don't use the other one if you have one. It's newer and it won't align with what we're doing here. So that's it. Find that one by searching for it in your search window here and then clicking on it, and you should open up. One last thing is it sometimes takes a little while to open up, so if you click on the desktop icon multiple times, eventually when it does open up, you'll have many versions of Inkscape. You can see on my screen I have 3 of them down here because I'm doing 3 different things right now, but you'll have many open up based on how many times you clicked it. So try and have some patience, click it, wait, and it should open. Okay, there we go. Here we are in our Inkscape environment, and by default, you probably don't have this open. By default, it shows you this page. Now you can see I just moved it around. How did I do that? Well, I'm using a mouse, and you have to use a mouse for design work, and I press down on the middle scroll wheel, and when I hold it, pressing down and holding it, I can move things around. This is called panning. So panning. Now, if you scroll the scroll wheel without pressing, it goes up and down like a web page. And then the last thing you might want to do is hold Control key on your keyboard and then scroll, and you'll see you can zoom in and out. It will zoom in and out wherever you put your mouse. So that's just moving around in the environment. Sorry. Now, what we're going to do first is draw a rectangle. Now this is a little funny. We're going to head over here to the drawing tools. There's many buttons in here. You won't be introduced to them all. We're only going to use the ones that we need, so just do as I do. So click this little box over here. It says create rectangles and squares, and then click on the screen and drag, and that should have created a square for you. Now I could keep drawing squares like this. There's another one. Oh, there's another one. And you can't see my squares. You're like, where are these squares? Now, what I'm going to show you is how to change the properties of this line that we drew. Right now, they are so small and thin and red, you can't see them unless I zoom in on them. So how to change the properties of things is up here. You click this pick tool. This is called the Select and Transform Objects. I call it the pick tool. You click it and you pick what you want to change. In Inkscape, these are called objects. So what we're going to do is go up here to object and change something about the object, and that something is going to be its fill and its stroke. Your boxes might look totally different than mine, but this is where we get to change them so they all look the same. So we want to change it to something we can see. So the fill, if I turn it on, will fill the box. I don't want that, so make sure this fill tab, there's 3 tabs up here, make sure this fill tab is off. Then we're going to go to stroke. Stroke is the outline of the box. So these are the colors in RGB spectrum, red, green, blue. We're going to just make them all 0, and we're going to end up with a black line because the absence of all color is black. And then the last one here, stroke style, you're going to go and change the thickness. Now, if you like to work in millimeters, you just bump this up a bit. It doesn't matter for this, what we're working in, until it looks like a thickness that is reasonable and it's a bit much. There we go, something like that. And we just click out and we're done. So this box now has different properties. The object, has different properties based on what we just set. And that's fine. All we want to do is be able to see it. So I'm going to click these other ones and hit delete on my keyboard and get rid of them. So I just have one. There we are. The next step is to make this the size of your bench pin. So you can measure your bench pin and make it the right size, and the way we make it the right size is up here. Now if you want to work in millimeters, you leave this box here at the top in millimeters, but I'm going to work in inches, and I believe my bench pin has a height of 8 inches. There we go, and that'll make it tall and thin, and I'm just going to move it, click on it and move it. There we are. And the width of the bench pin, if I pick it, you have to pick it to see these boxes, is 3.5 inches. There we go. You might have this on. See between the width and the height up here? When I pick it, there's a lock. What that would do is, here we go. I'll just make that some other number. If I lock that and I make the width wider, 3.5, you'll see the height changes at the same time. Enter. Because it locks the proportions, or what we call the aspect ratio. And we don't want that. We want to, in this case, change them separately. So we have to unlock it. And I'm going to hit Control Z. Control Z is the quick way of undoing things. And I'll Control Z again, back to where I was. I'm going to unlock it so I can change them separately. So the height's still 8 because I backed up. And now the width is 3.5. Enter. So this is the size of my bench pin right here. And next I'm going to put text on it. The only reason we're drawing this bench pin is so that we can see how big our text is going to be when we put it on. So now the next step is to head over to this side and grab the edit tool for text. Click that and click somewhere out there and then type what your name sort of thing. And then pick your pick tool. I got my name. Pick tool, I can move it around if I use the pick tool. And then head up to this button up here that's a big T. It says view and select font, family, size. There you go. Click that. On the right hand side you'll see a box appear that says font. And actually if you click this tab up here, it says text, you'll see what you wrote, name. And you can change it here, like I could change it to my name. Whenever you change something, you have to push apply, and then you'll see it changes. There it is, my name. So back to font. This is where you get to play around with the fonts. And if you go down the list of fonts, I just clicked into them and now I'm using my arrow key. You can see what they all look like. And you can find one that works for you. I'm going to go find something different. Here, let's go find something way down here somewhere. That is ugly. I will take that. Push apply. The other thing you can do is you could go up here and change its size. And you can sometimes change bold and italic. It shows up in this window. I'm just going to push, that's good enough for now. I'm good. And if I now wanted to change its size in relation to my bench pin, I can pick it and I can lock my aspect ratio so that I don't stretch it. And then I can drag it and make it whatever size I want. So there we are. And position it. Now if you want it absolutely centered, that all comes at the laser. We're not going to worry about it right now. It's just got to be about the right size. That's it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, now that I have my name all set up, and I can close that over there, and I can close this over here. There we go. Got my name all set up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the outline of the bench pin. So this box, this was only for reference. All I want is this part here. So to do that, I'm going to go up here to layers, and I'm going to go layers. I'm going to turn it on. And what's going to happen, it's on my other screen here for a second. I'll bring it over. You're going to get a box that says layers. Yours might be in the column on to the right, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to have mine float. What we're going to do is add a layer. And when you add the layer text and go add. And you'll see it appears over here. And then you're going to add or change this layer's name, this first layer that they had. Click on it, then right click and go rename. And we'll call this one